Hello everybody, welcome back to Space Pickle Designs. Today I have a video showing you some projects that you can make with the Sam's bead box for this month. If that sounds good to you, then just keep on watching. First up is this very simple earring. We're going to take one of those 2-hole beads, that yellow drop. We're going to take an ear wire, and then we're going to take a 4.5-inch piece of 20 gauge. I'm using German style wire, but I think craft wire would actually be better for this project. So we're going to take our wire, we're going to warm it up between our fingers, because the main part of this project is really just making sure that wire goes where you want it to go. We are going to feed on our yellow bead here, and we're going to put it directly as close as you can to the middle. We are going to fold one side, we're going to fold another side over. And in order to get this really organic shape, we're simply going to take our thumb and forefinger over the two pieces here, and we are going to make 1/2 turn. You can do more twists if you'd like, but I only did one. So as you can see here, our dangle still dangles freely. And what we're going to want to do here is kind of bend this wire to where it's straight on the longest parts, but still has a gap enough to where we can snuggle this bead right down in between this gap right here. So we may need the help of our pliers just a little bit in terms of kind of moving it outward just a little bit. As you can see, it's a little bit wide down there, but that's going to be good. And then our two lengths are pretty parallel to one another. So what we're going to do here, we're going to feed on that 2-hole bead, and it should settle down pretty nicely. And as long as it looks pretty similar to the one that you've already made, you're good to go. So what we're going to do now, we're going to again cross those wires to what we have here. We're going to choose one to be the up wire and then one to be the cross wire, as you can see right there. And so what I did here, I just did a few wraps. I think I did a total of 3. Let me just make sure on my piece here. I actually did 4, and this is what you're left with. I'm going to cut off that wire to the back side, and then from here, tuck the wire in. From here, I'm going to make a bend, and then we're going to cut off the excess wire. So we're kind of making a faux wire wrap look. So we still get the detail, but it's kind of a simple process here. So then I'm just going to make a simple loop here. I'm going to straighten up the form a little bit here, and then we're just going to attach our ear wire. And this is an easy way to make sure that your beads are facing that front direction at all times. And here is our first project. Next up, we have this earring, which I love. I think it'll go with so many things. The supplies that I used here are one of those drop beads. I have a head pin. I have another additional 20 gauge piece of wire, probably 2 inches. Ear wire. I have 2 of these terracotta spacers, 2 of the satin spacers, and then 1 Jasper Hishi. One item that I added from my stash are 2 copper spacer beads here. These are just the daisy spacers. You can choose to leave those out, and I don't think it would take away much. So what we're going to do, we're going to build our dangle first. We're going to take our head pin. Gonna put the head pin through. I'm just going to do a simple loop. I'm going to make it pretty small. Right, there's our dangle. Next, we're going to build the middle piece. I'm just going to make sure the one side is flush. And I'm kind of going to make my own eye pin here. So if you have an eye pin, feel free to use that. I just don't ever buy eye pins. This is the pattern we're going to do. We're going to do the smallest. That's a satin spacer here. We're going to do the terracotta spacer. I'm going to feed on one of the copper spacers from my stash, that jasper bead, and then we're going to go the opposite. So copper spacer, terracotta bead, and then that satin bead. Going to push it all the way down. Hold the bulk of your item here, bend it, and then we're just going to make another loop. Cut a little bit more off that guy. All right. It really doesn't matter what way your eyes are facing. I just, for consistency's sake, I always make sure that they are facing the same direction. And all we have to do is put it together. Gonna put our dangle on here. And then we're gonna use our ear wire. Here is a beautiful pair of earrings that will go with any outfit. Next up, we're gonna make this stacked flower earring here with some wire wraps. First step I'm gonna do is I picked out one of the orangest beads I could just for the contrast of color. We're gonna make a simple loop again here. I'm making that loop a little bit smaller than I normally do. Just make a simple loop from your head pin, as you can see there. Set that aside. I'm taking a 3-inch piece of 20 gauge wire here to make my own eye pin. I'm flush cutting the edges. I'm gonna make a smaller loop, like I said before, kind of matching that one that we just made. Right, so there's our eye. What I'm gonna do now is stack some beads. We have a druck. Bring that down. And then we're gonna stack our flower beads here. I picked out 5. And they are drilled kind of like little buttons here, as you can see. And we're just gonna stack 5. And you're gonna put the druck on top. So each side has a blue druck. So what you see here is that the flowers are actually going to nest within themselves. If they don't do that, just kind of wiggle them around until they do. And then I'm gonna make a loop that's perpendicular to the loop we have on the bottom here. Just bending it over, trimming, and then making our simple loop. All right, so that's what we have going on. Make sure those are perpendicular. Here we go. All right, and you'll see why we did that in a minute. So what I have here is a long piece of 26 gauge copper wire, and this is craft wire. And I probably have about a 15-inch piece, 12 to 15. And it doesn't really matter if you like a lot of detailing when it comes to wrapping, then just make a longer piece. But I'm just gonna take one end and wrap it around a couple times to secure, okay? And then this is just personal preference. If you like a messy wrap all over the flowers, then do it that way. I chose to kind of nest the wire within the flowers to give it kind of like a goddess bracelet look. But yeah, you're just gonna follow the wire around however you feel like it would best suit your taste. And so right now I'm just getting in those corners basically defining each bead. And then I'm going to give it a couple wraps at the top, and then we're going to follow that process back down. So as you can see, it's kind of giving those beads a little more definition, just a little something. And then I'm going to follow it down one more time. Until I feel comfortable with it. I'm going to give it a couple securing wraps on both sides here. And then we kind of just clip it off towards the back and tidy up the ends. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is assemble it. The reason why I did the perpendicular wire here is because it seems like these beads kind of want to shuffle to where if you put it on the ear wire, you would see this side front. And if that's what you want to do, then definitely do that. But I'm just gonna go ahead and attach an ear wire here to the top. And I want those 3 beads facing forward and 2 in the back. So when we're wearing the earring, you see 3 of those beads up front, so 3 flowers. At the bottom here, we're just going to attach our orange bead for a pop of color. And you have another really cool pair of earrings with some turquoise and a nice pop of color. Alright, so here are the 3 very simple pair of earrings that we made today with the Sam's Bead box. I have a couple other projects in the work. I think I'm going to make a necklace out of this box as well. But let me know down in the comments below which one was your favorite. If you had one, if you didn't like one, let me know which one that one was. In the meantime though, I hope you're staying safe and well, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!